Our first guest is a very funny man who has his own popular weekly show on the Fox Broadcasting Network. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to this program the star of It's Garry Shandling Show, Garry Shandling. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
You haven't been here in quite some time, and
no. And it was that phone call is exactly the reason I think we all don't call home more often. That's what it used to be like.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, more work than it needs to be. How's your summer?
Well, my summer is. Should I stand while I address this question? It's like at school when you say, "What is my summer like?" This man's going to direct the whole show, isn't he? That one man yelled, "Yes, stand up, please." This is the first summer I have taken off in about 10 years. I mean, I don't know how you deal with that, but I figured, well, I'm going to not work, not go on the road, not do anything else, and by choice, I'd like to make that clear, first of all. Yeah. And I got bored, and last week, and you don't know this actually, but it was last week I just called your show, called the staff and said, "Hi, it's Garry Shandling. I'm bored. Can I come on the show?" And they
said, you were that bored.
Yeah. So and Sally Jesse Raphael, I'm still waiting for her call back. And I was to the point I would have done that Attitude show. I was just bored. But no,
did you do vacation kind of things? Did you go on trips? Did you take tours or camping?
Well, actually, I do camp, but I didn't camp this summer. I went to Hawaii, I went home to Arizona, and I went to Washington a couple of times, which is an amazing story. I got a phone call from a guy at the Washington Post in April, and he said, "How would you like to come to the..." All right, keep going is the key with this audience, isn't it?
Yeah. So... Well, they're journalism fans.
Yeah, no.
You're
the Washington Post.
Boom.
Yeah, I had an ad in there once. So this guy calls me from the newspaper I just mentioned, and he says, "Why don't you come to this correspondence dinner?" And I said, "Well, you mean to perform?" He says, No. Just come and you can watch and see what Washington is like."
Because they have this every spring, I believe, or something?
Yes, it was the end of April, and every year they have it about 3,000. They said, and the president comes and tells jokes.
Yeah, it's kind of a hoot, right? It's a roast, and everybody does songs and that kind of thing.
Well, just about everything but the songs were there, but they come in, and in fact, the president roasts a few people, including himself, and I thought, well, this is something I don't want to miss, so... in fact, you should take a look at him for this show. He might be funny. So I go to Washington. I said, "Can you get me a tour of the White House?" to this Washington Post
Why
guy.
not?
I wanted to see what it was like.
Exactly.
I got this incredible tour. There's a bowling lane in the basement, one bowling lane. So it's...
Nixon had that put in?
I think Nixon had the rental shoe concession.
Doing a brisk business in one lane.
Yeah, there were some shoes that hadn't been used in years down there. Well, they have one lane, so it's hell on league nights, of course. So this guy shows me around. He shows me the Oval Office, right?
Right.
Because the president wasn't there. The Oval Office, which, by the way, is not perfectly round. And I'm looking at the Oval Office, and now this Secret Service guy says, "Well, the president is on his way down. Maybe if you stand against the hallway, the wall in the hallway, you'll get a glimpse of the president as he comes in." So
they're all very nice, very courteous to you?
They're incredibly nice, and they watch TV more than you think they would, and they knew my show. And the startling thing is, as a matter of fact, is the president walked through, saw me, walked up to me, and said, "Garry." And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, boy, who'd I vote for? You
must have been a little bit nervous about this.
I had I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, never in my life thought I would hear the President of the United States say Garry, at least without being followed by some sort of punishment. Yeah. And I had to call him Mr. President. I had never said Mr. followed by another non-specific term in my life, so I was lucky I didn't lose it altogether and call him Mr. Belvedere.
Did you feel for a second that you really weren't supposed to be there, that you had been caught down in his office?
Oh, I feel that way just about anywhere. I've heard you say that. I think someone's going to yank me out of here any second. All right, and it's probably going to be that guy in the audience as my guest. So yes, I felt incredibly out of place, and then you're talking to the President of the United States. He says, "What are you doing in town?" I said, "Well, I'm going to the correspondence dinner." He says, "I'm going to that." He says, "We should do something together."
Sure.
That's what I said.
There's no pressure there. Get together and cook up a skit with the president.
Sure. And all the times I've asked him to do the State of the Union thing, he's never responded, of course. So I said no, and then I realized, boy, you're just supposed to say that to Nancy Reagan. Yeah. So now, quickly, not only are the Bushes standing there, but a king and queen from some country that were following them around. It might have been their help. I don't know, but I think it was a king and queen. And they're standing there, and they didn't know who I was. And Mrs. Bush just points at me and goes, "Funny man, funny man." Thank you, Mrs. Bush. It's really the most pleasant introduction I've ever gotten.
Like you're Maury Amsterdam or something.
So he says, and at that point I pretty much felt like Maury, and if I'd had a cello, we all would have been in trouble. So he says, well, we should really do something because they want me to do 10 minutes of comedy. And I thought he was just joking because I'd never taken him seriously before. Sure, he says, "Where are you staying?" Tell him the hotel. He says, "I'll call you."
Oh, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going on inside my body, So we go back to the hotel, my girlfriend and I, and check our messages. And sure enough, the White House is called. And they say, "Call us back." And here's the president's aide, his name, right? So I call this guy back, and he says, "Gary, the president's all excited about this thing." Now, this is turning into a Twilight Zone episode. I mean, you'd think you'd hope he'd have something better to do than get excited over me doing any kind of comedy.
Now, we're still talking about the roast. He hasn't got ideas about going into Libya again or something, does he?
No, no, he didn't say, "Can you take some money down south?" or anything like that. No, although you're always nervous that something like that's going to happen because there are these guys hanging around with the wires coming out of their ear. Why they call it Secret Service, I have no idea. They got wires coming out and they talk into their sleeves, and you pretty much look at these guys and go, "I don't think it's a physical thing. I think they're the Secret Service." So I said to this guy on the phone, his aide, I said, "Are you spiking the president's punch or what?" And he says, "No, sir, I'm not."
Yeah, right, sure.
So, all right, this guy's a riot, right? Then he says, now here's the plan. See, here's the plan. He says, now the president has this idea. He says, a couple weeks ago, he pulled some people out of the tour line and introduced them to the puppies, and it was on the front page.
They were touring the White House, and they
pulled them out, and they were on the front page of the paper where the man had the ad. So he says, now the president would like to say that as he was walking through the tour line this morning, he pulled out another average, normal, everyday citizen, just to see what they had to say about the presidency.
Where the comedy comes in.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said, isn't that how he found Dan Quayle? It's funny, that was exactly the man's reaction on the phone. And I ended up doing the show. I ended up doing this 5 minutes. The president showed me around the top floor of the White House, and he's a wonderful guy. He's a normal, very down-to-earth, like if you had an Uncle Bush.
So at that evening, the presentation, the show that you did with him, what was that?
Well, it was very odd because, there were 3,000 people, and they said to me, a Secret Service person will come to the table and tell you when it's time to perform by saying there's a phone call for you. And that would be the signal. Yeah. So, the person with the wire comes in, and
they're good, aren't they?
Oh, wait, they are
Wait a minute. Okay, we'll do this, and then you can finish this when we come back. We'll be back with Garry Shandling. Mick Jones is over there, and we'll be hearing a full number from the gentleman in the band, along with Billy Joel on keyboard. So now you're at the big dinner.
Let's cut to like 3 weeks ago, because as if that experience wasn't enough, I did the little show, and the little show went fine, and then I figure, okay, that's it. I get home to L.A.
You're off the hook.
I'm off the hook.
That's what you feel like, yeah.
Off the hook. So. And it worked out great, but now I'm home in L.A., and about 4 weeks ago, I get an invitation to a state dinner at the White House. not a steak dinner. A lot of them went, "Ooh, barbecue."
Oh boy.
So now I figure, well, here we go again. But this is an opportunity I sort of didn't want to miss out on. I mean, I think it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
This would be exciting and not as much pressure as performing there, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what I was thinking. They're not likely to trick me into performing again. Okay, so we fly back to Washington just, to experience what is about to unfold here. And it's very storybook-like. I mean, state dinners, you drive up the driveway and there are all the military men standing at attention and whatnot, and they make you feel very welcome. You get out of the car, and it's very unpretentious. I mean, they go, "Welcome, Mr. Shandling. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming." And then they make you walk through a metal detector. So, not unlike a lot of my parties.
Who is this for? Who was the guest of honor?
It was for the Prime Minister of Australia, Prime Minister Hawke of Australia. I think they wanted to pick a particularly non-threatening situation to put me into. We've never had a big problem with Australia, so I think it's safe to invite Shandling and whoever. So my girlfriend.
Whoever.
No, I didn't mean whoever. My girlfriend. Not whoever, but so. No, my girlfriend and I have a girlfriend now. Don't start with me now about this because I get enough hell at home about this now. No, my girlfriend and I actually had low-impact sex last night. So
here we go.
No, we don't.
No.
So now my lovely girlfriend and I get out of the car. We're walking down this long hallway, and they announce you before you come into the room. They go, "Mr. Shandling," over this little PA system. I thought my fries were ready because I never have had this experience. Anytime I'm dining and I hear anything that sounds like my name, it means the table's ready or something. So now what was slightly unexpected was, and this is where it got a little formal, is they have a military escort come over and take your girlfriend by the arm, and they start walking. And I wasn't stupid. I walked with them because, quite frankly, that's not the first time it's happened to a date of mine. So
a Marine picks her up.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And it was at a movie theater, and so it was really kind of bizarre. Now, the end of it is, we have our dinner. They separate you at dinner, too. I guess this is like a very... You've had that happen?
Well, I've been to parties where they do separate you, yeah.
Now, how did you... I can't... They separate you so you don't just talk to the person you came with.
Exactly.
But that's why you come with the person.
I know, so you have somebody to hide with. I know, exactly.
Exactly. So it looks like you're participating when in reality you're not exposing
You're bored, silly, and scared.
Yeah. So that's why they at least have that mic they can, of course, talk into. So now they announce there's going to be dancing, which is where I pretty much panicked. Because I dance great alone, but you couple me with somebody, and it's tough. So we start dancing, and who else is on the dance floor but the president and his wife, who dance by, and this is where it really turns into a nightmare, because literally the president sees me dancing with my girlfriend, points at me, and just starts laughing. Like his date is so hot, right?
We gotta go. Well, that was a very nice story. Very nice. Let's see. It's a Garry Shandling show. You're entering your...
and Fox and Showtime. You said Fox, but it's on Showtime,
also,
which is really
you're going
important.
into your third or fourth year or something with this, aren't you?
Something like that.
Yeah, good enough.
Fourth year.
Nice to see you. Have whatever is left of the summer. Have a good time. Garry Shandling, kids.